Hey everyone.
Hey
Hope
guys.
everyone.
Hi.
Hey, hope everyone's having a good night. Toddy will be up here any minute. Just recenter the link and we will be on. Hey, exposing the Good Waves Network, Into the Weeds. Jenny, Zoe, Fancy Feast. So for anyone unfamiliar, I think everyone here pretty well knows Uncorked with Brandy. Brandy, you want to say hi? Give a quick intro in case anyone doesn't.
Hello. Hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? Yes, it is Wednesday.
We can go back in time a little. And then we got Jamie, Milk Honey and Mayhem. Hey, Jamie.
Hey, guys. Hope everybody's having a great day.
Jamie is a friend of Toddy's, and Toddy's had her up on some of her lives. And she has a cool channel. She's from Pulaski County, Tennessee. She does history videos, which I love. Big history nerd here.
Same.
And then we have Miss Fancy Pants. Some of you know her from TikTok. She does fancy Miss Ellie roasts, but she has a history with Mormonism. So this is an interesting, very what's the word I'm looking for? Special to her.
Yeah, I was raised Mormon, and then I left Mormonism in my 20s. And I actually live pretty close to Christine Brown and her new husband, David.
Nice. I knew you were
it's interesting.
In Utah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yep.
Is there any local tea?
They keep that on the down low because it's illegal.
I get you. We're not trying to do anything illegal here.
Right?
I'm just loving their relationship. I love watching these women come into themselves this season.
It's nice to see them feel free.
Yeah.
What do you think about David and Christine, Brandy?
I like him. I think he compliments her well, and it's neat to see her finally find a true loving relationship and somebody that values her, because you could tell from the beginning of the show they were never valued. They just weren't.
Right.
Yeah, Kody. Well, I mean, I'm sure everyone thinks Kody's a narcissist, but it's wild whenever he talks about the wives and his kids. He almost, without fail, always talks about not them as people, not them as their personality, but just how they treat him, how they reflect to him, how they make him feel. Like it's so cool that this one child or this one wife has this quirk of their personality that I find adorable. Like it's never that.
Right.
Any of y'all ever heard him say anything like that about any of the wives other than Robyn, of course?
Yeah.
No, he's only in love with Robyn.
Yeah. He finds her sobbing adorable.
I know, right?
If he would have just owned that in the beginning, I don't think it would have. I think most of us would have respected him a little bit more. I never really loved these women, and I'm realizing that now that I've met Robyn. But he never did that. He just kept lying about love, and it just is weird to look back at the beginning seasons. Now I'm just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah,
they lie.
I feel like he could have done a better job, if he come to the hopefully horrifying realization that he only loved one of his wives. I feel like he could have done a better job in trying to make the other three comfortable. Like, if you realize you are given one certain things and you can't the others, try and freaking make up for it somehow, But it seemed like all he did was basically just holler at him that they need to do better to Robyn.
Kody knew the difference though, because he was raised like mainstream Mormon first, and then I guess he converted over to polygamy like right after his mainstream mission. So he knew both sides, monogamy and polygamy.
Do you remember the name of the exact offshoot church he's in? I can't think of it offhand.
Yeah, it's the AUB.
AUB, okay.
I knew it was an A, but drew a blank on the rest of it.
I'm sorry, what?
I knew it was an A, but I drew the blank on what the rest of it was.
Yeah, AUB.
Is it Apostolic United Brethren?
Yeah. That's it.
Annie says Robyn and her $60K doll addiction. Yeah, that is nuts.
So strange to me.
Oh crap, Toddy's backstage. My bad. Hang on, let me get Toddy.
Hey guys.
Hey, Toddy.
Toddy.
Sorry about
Hey,
that.
Ty.
I've been listening to you guys for a minute here. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I've been listening and I am agreeing that the only one he loves is Robyn.
Mm.
Robyn.
That's it.
Robin's
That's
the
it.
favorite wife.
And then I have to
Absolutely.
ask, guys, though, does he really love her? I don't know that he loves anybody more than he loves himself.
I think he
Mhm.
loves
Well,
the
I
I
mean,
think
idea
he
of
he
being
loves
really
with
her.
loves
a.
himself.
He loved the idea of being with someone that, in his opinion, looked like a Diesel Jeans model when they got together.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I
That
Yeah,
think
was
he
I
had
think he loves her. I think his concept of love more so
I
than
think
any
he
of the
loves
other
her as
women.
much as he can love. I
Yeah.
agree with that. I totally agree with
Cody's
that.
version of love.
Yeah. But I mean, the show looked good and they had us. I mean, they had, let me speak for me. They had me sold the first season or two, but then you could always see there was something, listen, he fell in love with Robyn. He never fell in love with the other women. And I think that he didn't realize that until he met Robyn.
Yep.
I don't think that he realized what love was until he met Robyn. However, I think Robyn's a shit show. Like she's done nothing but bring in
Chaos.
she came into the family with debt and children and debt,
Yeah.
and I don't see where she's ever given anything back.
Mm-mm.
Well, she
You know?
would. There were times the family, like the kids, would be going something serious, and she would say, "Wait, we don't do this now. We need to wait till the cameras are here. This needs to be for the show."
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
yeah, and that to me was just yuck. Like, and because I used to be a fan of Robyn until that got put out there, and then I'm like, oh, never mind.
Well, now she's
I
doing
give no
that. That's
excuse
giving
to
some Sherry
Kody.
Frankie vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
I
about
give
to say
no
that.
excuses to Kody. Cody, see, he dated before he went on his mission. Like he had a normal life before he went on his mission. And he dated monogamously. And then when he was 22, that's when his family converted over to the AUB. And so that's when he converted over too. So he
That's
changed
interesting.
his thinking.
He didn't
So
grow up in a polygamous family.
no,
Oh,
no,
I
the
thought
only
he
one who
did.
grew up in a
Yeah.
polygamous family
Was
was
Janelle.
Meri.
Oh,
Mary. Yeah,
Oh.
his dad became polygamous while he was on mission. Wasn't it?
oh.
Yeah, it was right around that time, and so then he was introduced when he come back from the mission about it. But Mary grew up polygamy, and so did Christine.
I was about to say, I
It's
thought
the
Christine did
religions are
too.
super close, super close. Okay, so the AUB, what's alluring to them is they don't have to wear garments, and garments in the Mormon religion are these really they for FLDS they look like long johns, white long johns.
Right,
So they'll go all the way down to your wrists, and then they'll go all the way down to your ankles for FLDS. And
right.
so for LDS, they're more like a cap sleeve shirt and bike shorts. So the AUB doesn't have garments at all, and they can drink in the AUB. So it's like they get the best of both worlds
So,
without all the restrictions.
question
It's
about
kind
the
of like the
garment.
Mennonites. It's kind of like the
Yeah,
Mennonites as opposed to the Amish. They
Mhm.
got the
yeah.
electricity and shit.
Are the garments like what they wear to service? Is that what a
Oh, they
garment
wear
is
them all the time.
all the
Yeah, they're
time?
supposed to wear them all
They're
the
your
time.
underwear. They're your
Underwear.
magic underwear.
Because there's been several cases, and they talk about their garments, and they keep them in bags, and I don't know. There was just some weird stuff because I don't understand
I
the
think you're
Mormon.
talking about the Jewish
We can
faith. I'm
get
not. I'm
we can
not.
get
I'm
into the
not.
G's.
I think you're
I'll
talking
tell you
seriously.
all about the G's. The
That's the
garment.
Jewish faith. I think. I'm not seriously. I think that's the Orthodox Jews that put their stuff
Maybe.
right. Okay.
I don't know. So I never went through the Mormon temple. I didn't have my endowments taken out like Cody did, so I never wore the garments because I always thought they were fucking ugly and weird. And no, thank you. So I just I never went that far.
I didn't realize that the AUB didn't have to do the garments. I got
Yeah.
introduced to the idea of Mormon garments during the Obama Mitt Romney presidential election when someone made an ad about, do you want someone running the country who believes they have to wear magic underwear? And I'm like,
I
magic
remember
what?
that. I remember that.
I remember
They
that.
believe
Yeah.
those magic underwear will save their lives.
I mean, that's not honestly that different to my thinking of, I grew up with very, very super strict, old school evangelical. I was homeschooled, had to dress like Laura Ingalls Wilder. And, everybody believed
Can't see you like that.
Bible in your, I'll just send you pictures, Toddy.
Oh my God.
People believe like a Bible.
I want to see them too.
Yeah, share those
They
around,
make me feel
please.
better.
Hi, Edie.
Yeah.
Into the weeds.
If I ever dox myself, I'll
Those
show all
wicked
y'all.
wives.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing that gets me about Robyn, the thing that says it all to me about Robyn was how she was willing to let Meri go through what she didn't want to go through.
Mhm.
When Kody finally said, you begged me not to let you live like this. Why would you want and I think that was eye-opening to Meri. Like, you knew this man felt this way the whole time. What am I doing? And she was simply, Robyn is the most selfish person among like the top 10 that I've ever seen, known about in my life, because again, she came into the family with debt, managed to work herself around. God knows what they honestly spoke about, what the plans were between the two, her and Kody.
Right.
Because I think that he shared a lot more with her and probably told her, listen, I've never felt love like this and da 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 da. And she needed babysitters. She needed a cheerleading section. And then you remember how she tried to talk them into doing the how she tried to talk them into doing the sister wives closet and everything. And she got really offended when nobody wanted to like invest in stuff of that. In the meantime, she wanted people to work for her. The sister wives thing was her idea. She just wanted a bunch of associates working.
Well,
They
that
want
was
free
like,
labor.
it's a hobby business. It's not going to put food on the table. It's a hobby business.
Right.
And it wasn't something that everybody was into, or something that they had to take the family money and back. She had nothing to the table. She brought nothing except the fucking idea and their name.
How many times has she taken the family money? Let's think about that. She's done what, 2 houses now on the family money?
Well,
Crazy
and then
houses, too.
I'm sure they're going to split, like, so Robyn and Kody are still together, but I'm sure they're going to split the money 5 ways for the sale, because Coyote Pass just sold for 1.5 million.
Oh, they sold it?
Oh, I hadn't
Yeah,
heard that.
they sold it. Yeah,
Okay,
it
cool.
just happened yesterday. So they sold
okay.
it. So are they going to split it 5 ways, or are they going to split it 4 ways?
Well, they can't split
a
it 5
loss.
ways because, they can't split it 5 ways because whatchamacallit's already out of there.
Yeah, Christine's out.
Already got her money and she's done with that. So
Are
it's just
Kody and Robyn staying there?
No.
not if
Okay.
they sold it. They sold
Okay.
it.
Wasn't
know,
the condominium on Coyote Pass?
Yeah,
What
it was
did-
the plot of land. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah,
land.
and it had that trailer on it from Janelle.
Yeah.
Janelle put that RV on it.
Yep.
What,
Kind
Brandy?
of like the one I got.
Didn't they just like a couple of weeks ago finally split it up evenly on who got what plots between him, Janelle, Meri, and Robyn?
Wait a minute. Whoa, I'm sorry. When did you see the most recent show?
The most recent show when it
Yes.
aired back when the season split.
Okay, so there wasn't, the next show is coming out on the 20th.
Sunday. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Sunday or Monday, whichever day
Okay.
that is.
Okay, yeah.
They
Okay,
talked
well,
about it on Katie Joy may have been the one that let that out. Who knows?
Okay.
But then I follow Meri on Instagram, so they've talked about it a few times about things finally getting split up, and they had to fight
Okay.
them. They had to fight them to get their equal share. When she finally realized she wasn't getting her equal share, the gloves came off with her, and I was happy for her finally.
Who, Meri?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
When
Absolutely.
she brought that lawyer in?
Mhm.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's why I'm asking you. I didn't see that I didn't see that the last,
You've not seen the latest episode?
apparently, but I thought
We lost you, Toddy. I read more of news articles on them than watch the episodes myself, to confess here.
Right.
You get some good info in some of the groups on Facebook. Not gonna lie.
Well, and also watching the family and the people's own social media posts too.
Mm-hmm.
See,
And
I'm just watching the show, so that's where I'm coming from.
I gotcha. Cool. Well, and Miss Fancy Pants sent me a link to an interview that Kody did a year ago that was wild.
Oh my gosh.
See if Kody said anything.
See, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
we
Can you
got
guys
that.
hear me now?
We got
Yeah.
you back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why that thing goes on mute. But anyway, the last episode I saw was where it ended. I think where so Christine, they were driving to bring Janelle to like the Carolina. Where was she moving? Where's she moving?
North
North
Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah, and they were
Yeah.
all at a bar and they had shots. Wasn't that the last episode or no?
Yeah, that should have been the last episode.
So
Yeah.
I haven't seen them. The last thing I heard was Meri talking to Janelle and Janelle saying, listen, you might want to lawyer up here. I never saw a lawyer. So you guys have seen something I didn't see. That's why I was asking.
I'm trying to
That's
think.
what
Was it
I
in the
saw,
show or
Connie.
is
That
it
was
in
the last one.
was it in the show or was it in some of the social media posts they've done?
It was on
I
the
have
show.
seen the commercial. I have seen commercials of, you could see where Meri has had enough. And you know that she hired a lawyer, but I haven't actually seen the lawyer and I haven't seen it. That's why I was like, what am I missing? So I understand that you read more of the stuff. So I understand that, and that you guys go into other things, as far as, maybe you've seen some stuff I haven't quite seen yet. I haven't seen what you've seen apparently. But I do know that they hired a lawyer. I do know that just because of the previews, that's all.
Yeah. Same.
It's going to be interesting what they reveal next season
Mhm.
about all this.
I'm psyched. I am so excited because
Mhm.
I just want,
Mhm.
I want Meri, Janelle, and obviously Christine to just be happy. I heard before I came up when you guys were talking about, did he ever say anything nice about the other women? Like he likes this little quirk. He likes it. The only thing I've ever heard him say anything nice about was Janelle. And that was about her, I guess, the way that she can save money and stuff.
Well, he would say Mary's loyal. That's all he would ever say nice about Meri, that she's loyal to
Yeah, I
them.
agree.
She can save money. That's not a compliment. To
No,
Right.
no, no,
All
no,
these
no. I'm
nice
not
things
saying
are
it's a
gonna
compliment. I'm
feel
saying
like-
I'm saying that
He
that's
thought
it.
was. He
I've
thought
never
it
heard
was.
him
He
say
thought it
anything
was.
nice about Christine.
Mhm.
Never heard him say
The
anything
main
nice.
thing
about
I
Christine.
remember him saying about Christine, which is horrible for Christine, that this is probably the main thing that sticks out in a lot of people's memories, is him bitching about the way she eats nachos.
Right, that's the thing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Eats
that-
nachos like
He
anyone
didn't
eats
need to say
nachos.
that. He didn't need to say
And
that. Hey,
then he
Laura.
said he was never ever attracted to Christine.
That was horrible.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
that
was
Like,
that
who
was
like
says
the
that?
tears of
He
my
Christine
didn't
is
need to say that.
gorgeous.
He was trying to make everybody think, look at the sacrifice I made. I wasn't even attracted to her. And look at the
Right.
sacrifice. It's like a knife in
And
the
I still
kidney.
after.
My
I wasn't even
that-
attracted to her, and I still had kids with her.
My
God thinks I'm his
broke for
favorite.
her when they had the episode a few years back when they went on the marriage retreat. Him and her went to Galveston for
Mhm.
their anniversary, and they're doing this exercise for them. It's supposed to be a commitment thing for their relationship. And they're building this, they're taking the rocks. Remember, they're putting the rocks on top of the other rocks, and
Yep.
she's doing it for him and her, and he's doing it about the family. And he totally invalidated her
Mhm.
completely. And my heart just broke. I was like, oh, get out of this. Please get out of this. This is bad.
Hasn't
Meri-
Kody said before too that the thing that attracted him to Christine to marry her was her polygamous pedigree?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have heard you
Yeah.
say
Mhm.
It was her Mormon pedigree. Yeah.
Which is just wild. He clearly just became enamored with this idea in his 20s. It would be,
Of having as many wives as possible.
Right.
Yep.
and whenever he talks about it, like in that interview I was listening to earlier, Miss Fancy Pants, do you remember what channel that was on that he did the interview with a year ago?
Yeah, it's Mormon discussions.
Mormon discussions, and they were asking him about stuff and everything, and he started describing his thoughts on polygamy as he's moved away from, struggling with his faith and stuff. And he literally kept saying, well, I feel like it's just natural for men, but women have to be talked into it, and that's just the way of nature. And it was so freaking weird that Kody actually believes that. But then he also believes that it's religious because it's the way of nature, but isn't. And I'm not a Christian. I was raised deeply Christian, and I walked away from it, or late teens. But so I'm not speaking as a Christian here. But isn't the point of Christianity generally thought to be that it is divine to deny our human nature to be more Christ-like?
Yes.
You would think so. I
That
mean, but
is
in that
a
same
huge-
interview, he also wouldn't admit that, Joseph Smith marrying 14-year-old women was creepy.
Yeah, he kept saying he was
I mean, those are girls.
that was true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was justifying that, and I'm like, okay, we're about to get pretty Warren Jeffs on, you know,
Right.
like
because they
I
tried to stand away from that a few years back. They were really trying to put separation between them and the Warren Jeff sect.
Absolutely, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. I remember that they didn't want to be. They didn't want that ick. They didn't believe that. And you know what I always
the
appreciated.
AUB, the
But I
AUB
always
is just as bad.
Is
But
it?
Yeah,
I
they
think that
still labor traffic their kids. They still
Oh,
marry them off underage. They still marry siblings. They still marry nieces. Um, it's the same exact thing. It's just not as public.
oh.
So for them to get up there and say that polygamy is just this great way of life and it's wholesome is really, really misleading because there's probably a reason why Kody lost one of his kids already. It's the leading cause
Mhm.
of death in Mormonism.
So, Miss Fancy Pants, do you think, and this could be opinion based, it's just a thought process. Do you think them doing the show in the beginning was set up by the AUB to try and make it appear that
Yes.
that they did not believe in that, so that
Yes.
because of all that was going on? Okay. See, that's
Yes.
kind of what I thought, but because I'm not part of
Because
the Mormon religion, I don't know.
right? So even Robin's kids, her kids are Jessups. Okay, so if you Google Mormon Jessups,
Oh yeah.
they're Warren Jeffs.
Right.
they are.
Like
Ooh.
it
They
is the
are.
same exact thing. They chose to homeschool their kids the same exact way as all of the other Mormons who are doing shady stuff do. And then I can guarantee you that those kids have been labor trafficked too because they believe in work.
Milo, stop.
Most
So
likely.
the AUB isn't all pretty and shiny and nice like they're trying to make it seem like.
No way. The Mormon
No.
Church isn't that either.
No. No. Like
Look at Lori
I'm
Daybell.
actually I'm suing the Mormon Church for my own experience. I
Good.
can't get into it right now, but like when the lawsuit's over, then I can. But
I wish you well on that.
thank
Yeah.
you.
I have a huge issue with organized religion anymore, and that comes from a very long line of being a part of organized religion to where now I am so totally against it. It's not even funny because it hurts more people than it helps. I
I
feel
totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally hurts
Yeah.
more people than it helps.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then, it's like the church, they cover up all this abuse, whether it's the AUB, whether it's the mainstream Mormon church, or whether it's Warren Jeffs, they cover up the same abuse in the
Yep.
same way. And then they collect tithing while they're doing it.
Ugh.
So they're essentially making money off of covering up abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's such a sad thing because, personal faith is one of the most beautiful things about humans, and it's a healing thing. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what it is, but like for me personally, like my personal faith is that I've accepted that I don't know the answers. I believe that my ancestors visit me and give me messages, and I don't know how or why. But it gives me comfort. And I think that it's that way for a lot of people with religion, and the organization of it to exploit people is just horrendous because the people that get exploited are
Well, the
people who
organization is the problem, isn't it? The
Yeah.
organization is the problem.
Right.
In
It's
any
cult.
religion.
It's a cult. All
It-
religion.
It's when it
in
becomes
any-
a closed community.
Wait, hang on. So all I'm saying is I totally agree 1,000,000% with you, millennial. But the organizational part of it is the part that fucks up all of it. It
That's
doesn't
what I'm
matter if it's
saying.
Mormon, it doesn't matter if it's Jewish, it doesn't matter if it's Christian, it doesn't matter if it's Catholic, because when you guys, and I'm listening to you talk about the abuse and the covering and the tithing, that goes all the religions. It's
Yeah.
not
Every
one
single
thing.
one.
It's not, it's
Exactly.
all of them.
I
Which
was
is
raised
very
Baptist. It's
unfortunate,
just as
right?
bad.
Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
is
the
Yeah.
all
IOBP.
it
Yeah.
is
Oh yeah.
all, because the problem with it is that we're all people, right? So,
Mhm.
and people are flawed and they do some horrendous things under the guise of other things, right? Since the cults, think about cults, with the religion. Religion is, that's the
It's a
thing.
cult.
And why? Because religion is something that is supposed to guide and make you feel better and make you, when you're
Yeah.
at your low, you have faith that things are going to get better. So people tie into that and make it into a business. And
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Or turn it into a reason for their hatred against certain people.
Yes.
Mhm.
No, I'm
And
a
that's just,
Christian. Yeah, I'm a Christian. I don't who said that. Yep, I'm a Christian.
I'm a Christian as well.
No, I was
I
just
will
reading
say I have a
1980.
faith with God. I mean,
I'm
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 very
with
close.
I'm
Right.
with millennial. I left religion altogether.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's just
I'm
the oh, I'm sorry, Fancy Pants. I thought you
Yeah,
were
I was gonna say I'm agnostic now. I no longer I don't know if I believe in God or if I don't believe in God. I just don't know. That's where I'm
and
at.
that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
Like, that's your personal place, and I hope that you are comfortable with that or find a place that you're more comfortable as you get there in your own time. But
Comfortable where I'm at. Yeah.
I think one of the worst things in the world is that personal faith, like we said, no matter the religion, no matter what it is, like I said, my personal faith is that I don't know the answers. I believe that my ancestors visit me and I don't know how. That's all my personal faith is.
Right,
But it
right.
means a lot to me that people, no matter every type of personal faith and Christian religions and every other one, people try to organize around it to exploit the people that have that beautiful thing. And it's
Absolutely.
just
That's
so
exactly.
horrendous. Yeah.
Exactly.
They
Like they could
exploit
sell it.
trust.
Like they're the ones that could sell it. This has been
Right.
around since the beginning of
Mhm.
time, but there's
Yep.
people that think they've coined it and can sell it. And I mean, that should just be the main thing that goes out to people when
Mhm.
they come across things like that, is nobody can coin and sell this. This is
Right.
something that is a gift to all of us, however
Mhm.
we want to take it.
And it's
Nobody owns
different for
it.
everybody. I mean, I
Exactly.
believe
Exactly.
in God, but I also believe in reincarnation. Like,
Right. Right.
Your personal faith, yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
different for every single person.
I think there was this one guy who's like a historical figure some people have heard of who had something to say about making money based off faith. He went into like a temple and
Mhm.
overturned some money changer tables. His name was Jesus or something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, people are asking about the show. I know we
Yeah.
went
Yeah,
off on a
sorry,
Sorry,
religious
we got
thing,
distracted.
yeah, probably not. We're
I
not a
agree,
religious channel,
Sarah.
none of
Like
us, right?
for Cody to claim that his polygamy was to inherit the celestial kingdom. I mean, that's what he was taught, but
Yeah.
Right. But he was
I
only
just
taught that after a certain age, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
no, not necessarily. So the where the religions still intersect is Mormons, you're sealed for time and eternity in the temple. And
Right.
so men can have more than one wife sealed to them even now.
Without
So
physical polygamy, right?
there's still spiritual polygamy right
Oh, okay,
now
because
to this day.
Mormons don't recommend polygamy. They're not the
Right.
Mormon church
Not
is not
Right.
practicing polygamy.
Main
That's
Street
correct.
Mormon doesn't practice physical
Right.
polygamy. They practice spiritual polygamy.
Okay.
They will
Little
also
word
baptize your
trade
dead.
there to get around it.
Oh, I'm
People are
sorry.
talking about the way Kody is around Robyn's daughters, and I've heard that and seen some of that stuff myself.
Mhm.
I haven't seen that. What goes on? I haven't seen the scenes with Cody
He's
around Robin's daughter.
really he hugs
Touchy
them more.
feely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very touchy
it would
feely.
not be out of form if Cody were to marry one of them.
Right.
I'm kind of expecting that. I know it's disgusting. But
You think?
that is form right there. That's what I'm expecting. Oh, Joy, what the F is spiritual polygamy?
Mhm.
Okay, so apparently it's heavenly to have a harem of women on your, at your every beck and need and, kissing your feet and whatever. So, when your wife dies, you're sealed to her and she's your wife. So, if you get married again in the physical world, then you can be sealed to her too. And then and then if she dies too, you can get, sealed to another one. So, when you go to heaven, you have 3 wives at your beck and call.
And
That's
that's
what
the
it is.
requirement to get your own planet, right?
Yes. Yes.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, you get your own. They believe Earth is a planet, and
I
Adam is
agree with
the
that. I
planet.
agree that Earth is a planet. I
Hey,
agree.
we
Yes.
agree with
Okay,
the
okay.
Mormons on something. Earth is a planet. So,
Yeah,
but they
yes,
believe
Earth is a
Adam was
planet.
the man who achieved the celestial kingdom status by following these laws. He had 3 wives. He met the requirements, so he was given Earth to repopulate. And if they do the same things as Adam, they get their own planet to repopulate.
And the Garden of Eden is also in Missouri.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
Joking with you.
Okay. I agree. It sounds like some sort of caste system.
Yeah.
It's
weird.
really, really weird.
Yeah.
And as much as Kody seems to be trying to get away from it with his divorces and everything, it's still so obvious whenever he talks, like even whenever he gets really emotional and starts talking about his family issues with his wives and stuff, the thing that he comes back to all the time is the respect that they show me, the reflections, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And it sounds exactly like an old patriarch Mormon.
Yeah, but you know the problem with that on a personal level is the person that showed him the most respect and all of that was the one that he treated the least best, and that would be
Janelle.
Mary. Mary.
True.
Mary showed him. Mary was the
He
one.
treated
Mary's
Meri
the one.
horrible too, but he
Horrible.
That's
treated
what I'm saying.
Janelle poorly.
I
He always poked comments about her body because she was the only one that was overweight. And so I felt like he was always cruel to her. She didn't get any of the favorite wife treatments. She didn't get to
Right.
go on the vacations. She didn't get the nice jewelry that the other wives did. She didn't get the same luxuries. And I know for a fact it's because of her body, because Mormons value bodies and looks
but
so
these
Well, look
much.
at
women
her
were
now.
heavier set. But they were heavy set when look at
They were all pretty heavy set. Yeah. Well, Mary
Yeah.
wasn't in the beginning.
Mary was fine. Mary was fine because they were so young. But
Yeah.
when you see pictures of Christine, and I'm not trying to make fun, Christine was not a good looking wife. I'm sorry, she looked horrible, and Janelle did not look like
It
a
was
pretty wife
homely.
Very
either.
homely. Yeah,
They
that's
were both they were both big women in my. I
Mhm.
thought they were both bigger women.
Well, they were
anyway.
depressed.
No,
I'm
even
sure they were
before he married.
depressed.
Oh,
But I'm
sure.
saying he married bigger set women. So what's up with that when it comes
Lower
to
self-esteem.
Well,
but the
there's
thing is
no, it's a limited selection within the AUB. You have to marry within that specific religion. There are only specific women you can choose from.
Maybe
So
that's why I got so excited about Robyn.
he chose by pedigree with Christine. Okay. So Robyn's what he always wanted, his diesel gene model.
I think at one point he thought he was in love with Mary. I do think
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I think he thought he was in love with Mary at one time. I do think that,
Mary is one of my favorites, but I do think that she might have been very difficult at one point to live with. I think she just became
I can
miserable.
see that.
Some of the
I
kids
think-
don't have good things to say about her.
Right. She was
that-
very harsh. And I think that as the first wife, I suspect that they didn't know how to deal with the jealousy. There's going to be jealousy involved with a polygamous relationship.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no way around it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think they handled it well.
Mhm.
And she became bitter and angry.
Yeah.
Can you imagine always worried that your husband is going to bring home another woman and maybe that other woman is his half sister?
Right?
Oh my God.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
I'm being dead serious.
No, I agree.
Every single woman that he comes in contact with, even his stepdaughters from Robyn, like they're competition. It's
Mhm.
sick and it's wrong, but it's true.
That's
When
why.
when Meri, when everybody knew her as Mariah, she is now Leon, was graduating and leaving home, Meri was empty nesting by herself. And that broke my heart because as somebody who went through that part of life, that was devastating, no longer having kids to tend to. And she wasn't included in with the other wives and their families to be a mom, really. She was isolated and then she was catfished because
Yeah,
they left her
that's true.
open for that. And that was just so sad. And then he was really hateful to her about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And even if you're
yeah.
not on a show, under the limelight, that moment is so hard to rediscover who you are
Yeah.
after being just a mom for so
Well,
long.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
but
she only had one child, and that her life revolved around her.
Yep.
yeah, but so my problem with this isn't, listen, I'm just playing the other side of it. When you guys say, and she was like alienated by the other women, I heard she wasn't very nice to those women,
He
so
wasn't.
I'm not like,
Meri,
I could see that too.
she was, and she even said, that she didn't welcome, she wasn't nice to Janelle when Janelle came in. And then from that, Janelle wasn't nice to Christine. That, they all had
Right.
that.
Well,
thing
and Janelle
going.
was divorced from Mary's brother, so I'm sure there was some weird contention there.
And
Well,
isn't
like
she
I
the
said-
one that had that thing about locking the door or making people knock before they come in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
I don't, but Meri, like I said earlier, Meri, a lot of the kids have things to say about Meri that she wasn't
Yeah,
kind
so
and
I
with
mean,
her.
like she had one bio kid, right? But
Mhm.
like just like Janelle and Christine's kids, and even I think that the other kids are close. I think that even Mary's kid is close with Christine, right? Because didn't
Yeah.
Christine took care of all the kids, right? So, but
Dean
I
stayed
think,
home and took care, and the others worked.
but Mary, I don't think she obviously, there's too many kids saying that she wasn't kind. So, I mean, like, so when your kid grows up, why would the other kids want to be around you? They probably seek refuge without. So, I mean, some of this stuff I think maybe Meri was responsible for. But, I think Mary's made a change, and I think Mary's realized her mistakes. And I think, listen, the catfish situation, that was a horrible situation, but I'm not mad at her from it. If she was getting what she was trying to get at home, she just wanted a connection. She just wanted to feel loved. And that whole divorce was such a manipulation that when she finally, I think, realized it, and I don't think it was very long after when she realized it, that she felt foolish and, she was looking for a way out. I believe that she was looking for a way out.
I want to
And
know the real story behind the divorce, not what they told us on the show, because that's all bullshit.
Right.
Love Shack Sarah says that the person who catfished Meri was a friend of Robyn's. I've heard that rumor before. Have y'all?
I've heard rumor to that, but I've not seen anything that backs it.
I've seen screenshots where the person who catfished her was like in the same friends list or something like that with Robyn. But those, I don't know how to tell if that was doctored or not.
Well, but here's the thing. I'm on friends lists with people as well, and people I don't know on social media. You know what I'm saying? So you could be friend of a friend that's a friend of a friend, and all of a sudden you're friends.
And I agree with Love Shack Sarah. I agree with that comment completely.
You think that
I believe it. And listen, I wouldn't put it past her. Brandy, I wouldn't put it past her.
Well, not that one. The other comment down here. Definition of not being kind, though. Janelle and Christine were really lax with discipline and correcting behaviors. And I think they were fine with Meri being the heavy. And we saw her do
Meri,
that.
Yeah, Mary's parents converted over to polygamy when she was a kid too. So she was homeschooled and she was raised very different than the other wives. So she's going to be a lot more strict in everything. Like crazy strict.
Like, remember the one episode with was it Peyton, I think, was being mean to one of the other kids, and she was ripping him a new one, and they were like, it's fine, it's good. And she's like, no, they can't be this way to the younger ones. And they were wanting to just let it go. So her parenting style was just a lot different. She was very hardcore, I guess you could say.
It's typical Mormon. Yeah, it's typical. We'll probably hear in a few years that there was probably some Ruby Frankie style discipline going on. I bet you too.
Probably.
I don't think that. No,
I
I don't
do.
think.
I
I think we
do
would have
because
heard
it's
that.
ingrained. It's ingrained in the culture.
I think we
So the
would have
kids
heard
are
about
used
it.
to
There's
it.
a lot of kids. I think we would have heard something about that. I think so. That's
that
my
is a
opinion.
good
I think
point,
we would
but
have.
And some of the kids like Meri, and then some don't. So I think that it could have been personality conflicts maybe within her and the kids that she just didn't clash well with. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm not saying Mary specifically, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if eventually we don't start hearing, I mean, obviously, if the kids had flesh wounds and stuff being on reality TV, that would have come out already.
I
But
don't think they got flesh wounds.
I
No.
wouldn't be surprised to hear confessions of the Brown kids, some pretty horrific stuff as they get older and later on.
Right. Well, I'm sure there was mental abuse. I mean, clearly.
Kody seems, I don't know if you could be around Kody and not be mentally abused. I worry about
Right.
the food crew.
Oh.
I mean, we know that Kody slapped one of the girls on TV
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
in
I
the
didn't see
face.
What
Yeah.
Nick
I didn't see
McKelty?
that. I didn't.
I think
didn't
so.
know
I
that.
think it was McKelty.
I think because
So
McKelty
if
was difficult when she was a
Yeah.
teenager.
yeah, so
You
if
saw that,
Kody does
Brandon?
that on TV,
I
think
haven't
about what
seen
they
that.
do behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Well,
listen,
the way
yeah,
they
you
show him
don't need
lose his
kids who don't
temper
do
on
that
TV.
anyway.
I believe they have since edited that part out of the original video.
Mm-hmm.
There are several episodes that have been edited again to remove things they do not
Mm-hmm.
want out there anymore.
Physical violence.
Mhm.
I wonder if that's out there on any platforms.
Probably find it on Reddit, I'd bet.
Probably.
I bet it's on Reddit, yeah.
Or
Yep.
after this. I'm curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time he talks about his kids, like, I just feel bad for him. It's not anything that I'm seeing out of the kids, but it's Kody's words and tone about them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, as soon as he has he has absolutely no obligation, it seems, and no feelings. I mean,
No.
towards
As soon as
any kid other than Robyn's kids.
Yeah.
That's what it's. I mean, that's the way it totally looks. I totally agree, but I've never seen him put hands on his kids. I just can't say. He slapped McKelty and he squeezed Gwen's face hard. The slap was edited out, but I remember watching that episode. It says
Mhm.
"Love
Oh, wow.
Shack Sarah."
Mm-hmm.
Like, squeezed her face, like
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
that's
I don't
what
think it was I love you, I
Brandon-
love you. I think it was more like you better fucking listen to me.
Yeah.
I think
And
so.
I'm
too.
gonna do whatever I can because we're on camera.
That you totally
So-
fucking heard me kind of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
It's
I am
just-
looking forward to this next season. They're supposed to have a very special episode just for Garrison.
Oh,
And
good.
I plan on having a box of Kleenex,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
Or two.
I
It's
will.
gonna be a
I will
sad
too.
one.
I don't think I can bring myself to watch anything Kody has to say about Garrison.
Mm.
You know, I think that's unfair. Can I go ahead? I'm
You're
sorry.
good.
Cody says, like
You're
Cody
fine.
says, Janelle's kids and Mary's kids
Uh-huh.
and Robyn's kids. He never says his kids, his son, his daughter.
That's
Like
always
it's
awesome.
so weird to me that it's always their kids. Like
Yep.
motherfucker, you're the father. You created them.
Mhm.
It's like they're possessions to him. They're
They
not
are
people.
100% possessions to him.
Annie, he did fight. He fought Janelle for Garrison's estate. They had a court battle.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
He didn't
ridiculous.
even raise Garrison.
Mm-mm. He wouldn't even go after they found Garrison. Wouldn't even take the time to go. I mean, Gabe went to pick him up, and he still refused to go to Garrison's house.
Mm.
Wasn't it just yeah, anyway. Ugh, I don't even want to think about it.
Right.
Yeah, and I certainly, I just don't want to pass judgment on a parent that might not go somewhere because God, I couldn't even put myself in those shoes. I don't think. One thing I'm going to say is that there's 18 kids. One of them offed himself, and that's horrific. But I'm not going to blame the parents of these kids because nobody wishes this upon anybody. And there's no doubt that if they could go back and make whatever right. Garrison had a drinking problem, unfortunately. Garrison had a problem with his job. Unfortunately, Garrison had his girlfriend and him broke up, and his parents were going through what they went through, and that's horrible. But I would never blame a parent for that, and I don't think either of those parents need to be blamed for what happened.
Oh, I'm
here.
not blaming. I don't blame him for Garrison's.
No.
Yeah, I don't blame
blame
him
him.
at all either. I think
Well, you know,
he's
Katie
discussing
Joy's all
how.
over the case blaming both of them. You know
Yeah.
that.
Oh
I just
gosh.
wanted to be 100% sure I'm not on that. I'm not on that board.
I don't blame him, but I really hope he feels what his loss every single day and feels that regret of not being.
I hope that he learns that time isn't something that we have control over, and
Exactly.
if you want a relationship with your children, you make time for them.
Not
Check,
wanting-
Sarah. That's likely true that they said that, because it's a very deep Mormon belief that if you end yourself, that you don't get into heaven,
And they
because
are
it's
saying that
considered murder.
they are saying that McKelty ended her friendship with Robyn from that memorial service. So that would make sense that might have been what was said and caused McKelty to say, fuck you.
I've heard people say similar things to other people before. Like I've heard it repeated many times before around the area. So it's something that gets said a lot.
Well, a big part of the reason why I said I do not want to watch any Kody talk about Garrison's death in any way is because I will emotionally put unfair blame on him because I can't stand Kody and I feel how I feel about it, and I recognize that it might
It
not
didn't
be
help the situation at all, you know. And but I certainly wouldn't want to be him. I certainly wouldn't want to live like that for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? But I mean, we see listen. The thing is that what's funny is this. To be honest with you, and for conversation, okay? So if we were talking about Robyn instead of Kody right now, everybody would be like, "Oh, she's brainwashed. She was brainwashed." Well, maybe Kody could be brainwashed by Robyn. Maybe, you know, because everything changed in his life when Robyn came. I just to flip it to make it more interesting, imagine if we were talking about a woman and how she lost a kid by being turned away from her other family to be with the man, as opposed to the man being turned away from his family to be with the woman. Like maybe he was being brainwashed by her. And I mean, I'm not, listen, I'm just for conversation, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
For conversation. I don't think there's you have kids for life. You know what I mean? You have them that's why I have none. But you have kids for life. And so yeah, he failed, especially with the COVID and what was said, what we saw. Totally so. And you know, if Garrison did need to reach out to his dad, he felt like he lost his dad over that. That we know, that we saw that the kids said that. We don't even have to guess. You know what I mean? But you know, I'm not going to blame him when he has 17 other kids that haven't done anything like that. I think it was a perfect storm. Like somebody said, it was a perfect storm. It was just another thing, unfortunately. Yeah.
I think your attitude is the correct and fair attitude, and that's why I'm not going to watch Kody say anything about Garrison. I'm going to try and be like Toddy.
Well, just like with the Sherry Frank story, I think when we put kids in reality TV and mommy blogging and any of that, I think it is such a dangerous thing. It puts too much pressure on a child. It's just too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, half the time they don't even understand it. You got this show's been on for 20 years, right? 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay. How old were these kids? What's that?
That's hard to imagine from the kids' perspective of that's been to some of them, that's been their whole life.
Whole life, exactly. So think about that. Think about how old Garrison was when the show came about.
In social media, tearing every little move your family makes apart. It's hard on a child and a young person in their 20s to put their mind around and watch people do that. I mean, I just couldn't imagine.
Because everybody knows your whole story, your life. How do you even get away from it? You know what I mean? But yeah, I Edie, you and me, we're right there. She is a bad person. She's a horrible person, Robyn. I think she's a horrible person.
I
She's
agree.
selfish. She's
Yep.
selfish. She's self-centered, and she never wanted. I don't think she wanted sister wives. Like I said, I think she wanted cheerleaders to tell her that she's number one wife and all that.
She basically
She
wanted
wanted the
employees.
idea of sister wives, but not the work of being sister wives.
Right.
Employees.
Who even likes the idea of being sister wives? I mean,
Mm.
how does that sound? How does that sound nice? Let me share my husband with
Well, I think
4 or
it's
5
more
other
like
women.
no. I think
Mhm.
Robyn came in knowing. I think Robyn came in knowing that she was going to be the number one wife, and she was just going to have a lot of help with her kids. That's what I think Robyn thought.
Employees.
Mhm.
That's what she
Exactly.
basically
Yeah.
Employees. Bingo. Exactly
Yeah,
correct. Here we go.
employees.
You and me.
Yep.
1980.
Smoke them if you got them, friends.
Ah!
Smoking with you.
Woo.
I'm
Children
in
on
Tennessee. I shall not be
reality
smoking.
Me neither.
I'm sorry for you.
Uh,
In Texas, we don't get to smoke it here either.
I'm sorry
Oh,
for you.
dang. Kung Fu Panda says children on reality shows don't even have the protection child actors have. All the lost out of the paycheck. I didn't realize that.
They're
The
trying to do
child
something
actors.
now.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to
Yep.
do something now because of the Frankie situation
Yeah.
and another
Sharon
family.
Frankie is working to change the laws.
Yeah,
and I
She
love
said
that for her.
that, yeah, she really goes into how damaging the
he is
the
so
child
amazing.
Mhm.
vlogging was for her. And I think it'll be just as damaging as, well, probably more damaging for the brown kids, because if you think
Mhm.
about it, they were all homeschooled to hide the fact that they were polygamous. I
Yep.
mean, they were literally pushed out of Utah. Otherwise, they were going to charge them, like
Mhm.
criminally charge them. And then they kind of bounced around trying to avoid getting criminally charged because what they're doing is illegal. And the kids know
Right.
this. So the kids, they have enough outside knowledge that they
Oh, yeah.
know why there's a stigma towards polygamy, and they know like who their family is too. So
Mhm.
It's such a weird thing because I do think adults should be allowed to live in whatever kind of relationship they want. If it's multiple people
Mhm.
and you all
Right.
love each other and you're
Absolutely.
As
happy,
long as
what
it's
the
all
hell?
adults and all consenting, then it's nobody's fucking business.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
right, but for the
bringing
kids, it's
children
never
into
healthy.
it,
Right.
bringing children into it just makes
Mhm.
it so different. It becomes so complicated and convoluted. Like there are very, very few plural, much less seen I've ever heard of plural families actually being happy
Mhm.
in a way for the kids.
They
So
seem to flourish better when they went to Vegas because it was more of an open-minded area.
really,
Mhm.
I didn't see any of
Yeah.
their episodes there.
You know, with the exception of Robyn's kids, seriously, I think that it was successful for the children. Those children, they have good memories. They love their siblings, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the Christine and the Janelle kids, those they're like they're true brothers and sisters, basically. You know what I'm saying? And Mary's kid too. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, of course.
the kids, I think the kids did okay. I really think that the kids have done okay. I'm
Yeah,
not
I do
saying
too.
that the parents, but I'm saying as siblings and such like that, I think that the kids definitely did okay because
Mhm.
I think they've done okay because of the money from the show.
Yeah,
Being
yeah,
a
because if
And
they're
that's the
not
only
having-
reason.
Yeah.
no, I'm talking about the
Interesting
relationships
perspective
with the
here.
kids. You see the relationships with those children among themselves.
Oh,
That's what I'm
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
talking
the
about.
closeness within the kids.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
talking about that.
I don't think they would have as honestly, I don't think they would have as good of a relationship if they didn't have the cameras on them, because I think it kept the parents
Mm.
at their best behavior and it kept the kids from being abused. Just think
That's
about
an
it.
interesting
They're
perspective.
already isolated. They're being homeschooled.
Yeah, I'm
They
not jumping
don't
on that. I'm not going to jump on that.
You don't
I'm
have to.
because
That's
I'll tell you why.
okay.
Because I never saw it with the two women that I'm talking about. I've already spoken about Meri. That Meri, there was something with Meri with the kids, but I'm talking just strictly about Jeanette. I'm talking about including Mary's kid. I'm excluding Robyn's kids and just talking about the kids. And I think that those kids. I really think that those kids, they have a bond and I think those kids have a great relationship. Look at who lives with who, who's helping who's calling who, And I don't think that's from cameras. I don't, because you see how messed up the wives are. You know what I'm saying? You see how messed up the wives are, and you see the fightings, even with Meri and her own kid. You know what I'm saying? And with some of the kids and their own parents and stuff. But I think the relationship with the kids is genuine, organic, and I really don't think it has anything to do with the money. Now, I think that as far as where they're at in their life, because of the benefit of the money, but by all means, and they're protected under the Coogan law, you know, where the internet stuff
I
isn't
think with
protected.
I think with 18 kids, a lot more kids would be beaten if there wasn't cameras around all the time.
Oh
Yeah, Kody slapped the girl on camera, and they didn't have cameras on them. There's no telling what would have happened without the cameras. I completely
I
agree with
just
that. To Tottie's point, that probably doesn't have anything to do with the relationship the kids have with each other, but I think
probably not.
personally agree with Miss Fancy Pants that the cameras probably kept the parents in line with any tendencies they may have had to go overboard, because it would get out there. But I think Bean has an interesting point here. Says the show saved the Brown children in the OG3, otherwise they wouldn't have been exposed or had the money to get out. And if the OG3 had wanted to leave Kody at this point of their life without the show, that's a good point. Would they have been able to?
They couldn't have.
No.
They couldn't have.
No, they would
Have
be
you
able to
guys
support kids, but
have you watched the show Escaping Polygamy?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so there is a YouTuber. Her name is Amanda Ray, and it's RAE. So she's
Right.
from the Order, so the Kingston clan,
Yep.
and they're here in Salt Lake. And she is a lot more realistic about how life goes for polygamists, whether it's in the Order or whether it's in the AUB. It's not pretty. They don't have money to leave. They're not educated. They haven't gone to school. The kids have been used for work, and they don't have other options. So they stay.
Well, that is the basic of how all cults work. That's how they keep you in there.
If I understand right, the Order is a bit more insidious than some of the other offshoots of fundamentalist polygamists, in the sense that they encourage inbreeding more. Is that
They
right?
do. They
Yeah.
do.
They
Yeah.
believe royal chosen by God families in the Order, and they encourage inbreeding amongst the two. So it creates an even bigger obstacle for those people getting out, because they have mental issues due to inbreeding. Physical issues.
Right.
In addition to the stigma.
Kody Brown has a nephew that's a comedian too right now. He's a local comedian, Benjamin Brown. He goes by King Benjamin. He actually looks like Kody, and he talks about the work trafficking and also some of the incestuous relationships within the AUB. So it's not immune. The AUB is full of work trafficking, the same exact stuff.
Gotcha.
Yes, the Order believes in a pure bloodline. Yes.
That's why they intermarry
But
certain
so does the
families.
AUB. If you notice, you'll never find any Black polygamists, AUB members.
Well, it's interesting. Kody was in the AUB when he said what he was attracted to was Christine's pedigree, right? It's all about the bloodline.
Well, he claims to want nothing to do with polygamy anymore.
He does claim.
Does he?
Yes, he does. He said that. He's actually said to Robyn that, you know, I hope that I'm enough for you, basically. He asked her, you know, if all I got is monogamy, you know, because he's done with it. So he said.
It's kind of wild to see Kody in that position where he's trying to woo Robyn to just be attracted to him, because it's been a thing that they've said all along that Robyn absolutely wanted to be in plural marriage, and now everyone is left but her.
I suspect he will try to sell another show to TLC to do Kody and Robyn looking for new wives kind of thing.
I think he'll go back to polygamy also.
Do you all think he'll do that out of his own volition, or because he knows Robyn wants plural marriage?
I think because he still truly believes it. And so does Robyn.
I think he sees a paycheck.
That
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and plus he keeps saying it's just the natural way that all men feel this way, whether they'll admit it or not. So I think that's him, self-telling.
Here's the thing. If he gets into polygamy again, I don't think Robyn is crazy about sharing her husband. I think she's crazy about sharing the responsibilities, not the husband.
I
So,
agree.
how's that going to work? Because it
He'll
didn't
get
work
younger
too well the
wives.
last time. It didn't work too well at all the last time. So how's it going to
He'll
work?
go for another 18 or 19-year-old wife.
Uh-huh.
I bet you.
And you think that Robyn's going to sit back and say, "Yeah, that's fine.
Which
That's
is common.
yeah, okay, you go for it, Kody."
That'll give her something else to cry about. Of course she will.
She'll be sobbing again.
It's very
Yeah.
common for them to look for the younger wives because it makes them feel good. It builds that ego up that they got a young hot
Yeah,
wife.
but if Robyn's wearing the pants, which I think is what I'm saying, Robyn's wearing the pants in that relationship, I can't see her being okay with that. And being that she's wearing the pants because Kody, obviously, I think that Kody just loves her a lot more than she loves him, to be honest with you. But
My
I still
guess-
don't
I
think she's
can
still
see
going to
it.
share him.
Yeah.
I can see it because more kids. The younger the wife, the more kids.
Mhm.
My guess is that they might try and go for it. And like Brandy said, probably a very younger woman. And that Robyn would try and sell that, yes, I've always wanted plural marriage. This is going to be great. And she might think that she is going to be wonderful at it because now she would basically be in the position of first wife, head wife type of thing. But I don't think she would actually handle the reality of it well because we saw how Kody acted when he got a younger, more conventionally attractive woman in his eyes with Robyn. He would do the same thing with a younger woman, and I don't think Robyn would react well when she wasn't the subject of that. I
And
think she
also-
might try and say she would and try it.
And
but I
also,
don't think she would.
there's a question about how far they went before they actually got married and how far they were supposed to go. So
Oh,
being
yeah,
that
sorry about
being that maybe they didn't follow the rules, then how do you trust him to follow the rules? You see what I'm saying? Like that's one of those situations, kind of like, how do you trust somebody not to cheat on you if you met them cheating?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think
Well,
Cody's going to follow the rules.
Alexa says spinoff where Flava Flav mentors Kody on how to get all the ladies. But make it
Hilarious.
y'all remember Flavor of Love in the 90s?
Flava Flav.
Flavor Flav. I wish
Well,
that
see, I think that Mrs. Fancy Pants, here's the thing. I just think that Cody's not going to do much of anything without Robyn's say so. So I think she wears the pants. So I think it's going to be everything. I think is up to her. Do you not agree with that, or how do you feel about that?
So I think that he's going to go for another younger woman because I think his celestial kingdom is at risk. So he needs his 3-wife minimum to get into the celestial kingdom.
So you still think that takes precedence over Robyn?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes. Because God comes before your wife. It is
I'm
God,
not sure
your
he
wife,
shares that view anymore, but
the
I
church, and then kids.
Because he's questioning his own faith. I mean, he's been questioning his own faith. So I'm not too sure that he shares that sentiment anymore. But you think he does still?
I think he does.
Okay. That's cool. We're going to see. I mean, time will tell.
I think Robyn might be okay with getting new wives, even if they're younger, just to get that combined money at this point. I think she's older and she's like, let them have him. I'll just take the money.
Should we do a Brown family bingo card, y'all?
We should.
Yes.
We need to make them. That would be fun.
Yes.
That'd be awesome. Does
I
Kody
think
marry
that
the nanny?
Yes, Sweet Panda. She had a nanny during COVID. She's had a nanny from the beginning, but even
what does the nanny do?
Right.
That was so funny. What does the nanny do?
What does she do? Didn't Christine sell
does
shirts
the
that said that or something like that? That was so
nanny
funny.
That's a tagline now. What does the nanny do? Yeah.
I'm just glad they're using a nanny and not the kids as nannies.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
That's a good point. That's a damn good point. Yeah, child labor is such a thing in that
That is
religion.
like a huge win.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't somebody write that Dalton just moved? Didn't Dalton go back with his biological dad? Didn't somebody
That's
write
what
that?
somebody
Yeah,
wrote that
that's what I heard.
earlier.
Yeah. So Dalton, the oldest son is Peyton. Who do the thing with me with
The
the
oldest of is Logan.
No. As
Oh,
far as
three.
Robin's kids,
Robin's kids. Okay. It is Dalton, who
so
we
Dalton's the oldest.
also his his real name is David. And then it's Aurora then Brianna, or Brianna then Aurora.
So Dalton,
Brianna than Aurora.
I can
Yeah.
never remember the
I get the two girls backwards.
Yeah.
is it Dayton? Somebody's saying it's Dayton.
Dayton, not Dalton. Sorry, Dayton.
Okay. So he's the one that had the accident, right?
Yeah.
Where
Mhm.
Four-wheeler.
okay. So
Yeah.
okay, very good. Okay. So because Dalton, I couldn't figure out who Dalton was for a second there, but now Dayton, I know. I thought it was the oldest, but I knew the name was different. So he went back to go live with his bio dad. So Robyn says that she wants this this marriage, right? This polygamous sister wives bullshit. Yet she's never been one. Christine said that, right?
Well, she was
Christine,
married to a Jessup before.
but they
So
never.
she
It
may not
wasn't
have been in a polygamist relationship
exactly.
before, but she was around. She was around. They just didn't find anyone her husband liked, I guess.
I don't think she has any desire because she hasn't shown it in any way. She hasn't been a sister wives.
I did not realize that Robyn wasn't a sister wife before. That's interesting.
Well, no, that was the plan, but it never progressed.
Right.
It
Yeah.
never came to fruition.
And
These
then she got
women,
the
none of
great-
them were sister wives before. They
and
were
then she saw the
mainstream LDS
opportunity
before
Mm-mm.
and
then she saw
converted
the
over.
opportunity to be on TV.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they had a little bit of success. Then I mean, she had no success at it. She had not even at the beginning of this. It seemed like she had no success at wanting to be a fair. I mean, even when it came to their honeymoon, like look at that. That was so telling. Absolutely telling. You know, she was pregnant. Christine was pregnant. I mean, you know what I mean? Like right away she came in and no. And I think she knew that before. Like this didn't just happen overnight when they just tied the knot. I think something happened. I think there was probably some sex before the marriage, stuff that crossed the line. I think they knew what they were doing right away, what they were doing.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it seems like they're trying to, in that, I don't remember which episode it was, but a recent-ish episode kind of seems like they're trying to rebrand this to Robyn and Kody's love story. They had that little intimate dinner scene where Kody was talking about seeing her across the church and they locked eyes and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so different than they sold to us in the beginning.
Right,
Exactly.
because Meri was a big part of that. You're absolutely right, right? It was somebody that Meri knew and Meri pushed it on, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and Kody kind of walking away from the beliefs lately. It's like, dude, when you promote and proselytize an idea that's that controversial, that in some states illegal and deeply affects so many children, and you walk back from it, you really need to walk back from it just as loudly as you promoted it and for just as long. Like this little
I agree.
on podcast here and there. I'm not sure about it anymore. Doesn't do it to me.
Right.
He did say that. I mean, he has said that just recently. I thought where he said that it's not where he said that it's not something that when he was telling basically Robyn that was it. It was just him, you know what I'm saying? So I think he has, but my issue is the way that he's treated the 3 other women by saying he was never in love with them, by what he said about Christine eating
nachos.
First of all, that's the mother of those kids. You know,
Yeah.
those are the mothers of those of your children, and look at what you're saying about them. Like, you have to live with that. That's not nice, you know.
But Kody
So,
Brown thinks that they should be grateful they're married to him.
you know, I'm not too sure that it's all that. I really think that it's more human than that. I think that
He's a
I think
narcissist too, but
I think that, listen, I think he's a flawed guy, 100% flawed guy. I think he is a narcissist, but I really think that I think that when he got into the first 3 marriages, that was it for him. And then I think he honestly fell in love, and that's where things went wrong for him. It's fine that he fell in love with the way he fell in love. It was the way he treated the other 3 women that I had a problem with. He made them feel like they weren't good enough for him, instead of him just being honest with them by saying, listen, I am so sorry.
Exactly.
I love you, but I never even realized what love could be. I'm sorry this hurts you, but I want you to go on with your life. I still want to be a dad. I still, you know,
You
just
could have focused on making it up to him.
exactly. But the minute he realized, I don't want to sleep with the other women. I don't feel that way. That's when he knew something was different, and something where he should have come down and said to the other women, listen, man, I just want to be fair with you guys. They can be as mad as they want, but he played them, used them, and then blamed them.
he sees it as his right.
Yeah.
You know, what?
He sees it as his right to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried to make it their fault 100%. That he didn't he even actually say one time something like, if I don't love you, ask yourself why, or something like that.
Yes, yes,
Right.
yes,
And he could only
exactly.
love
What are
them if
you
they were
not
good,
doing that
and
makes
they
me not love you?
and only love them if they were a good sister wife.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
is
not too
nuts.
sure how much that has to do with being a Mormon, or has to do with just being a human being. There's a lot of people that don't take responsibility, and they blame it, and that has nothing to do with their religion or anything. It's just people that just don't want to take responsibility for shit, and they blame other people.
Yeah.
You
It could
know?
be either or, but it's pretty embedded in the religion. I mean, like
Well, I mean, you
like
certainly
1980
know
said. I
more
mean,
about
he
the
even said,
religion than me. I mean, you certainly know more about the religion than me, but it's not exclusive to that, because we have our fair share of assholes out here in the real world too, as you know, that just don't take responsibility. You know?
oh, for sure.
Well, did you guys see the scene where him and Robin's daughter went up and was asking to be baptized and talking about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he was so against it until she said, well, would you baptize? And then as soon as he said, oh, I can baptize you too, he was all in. It's all
Oh
about
yeah.
control with
Because
him.
it gives him his power.
Yeah.
I found it
Cody's all about
very
power.
it was cringe for me to listen to her go and even ask them for permission to go to church. They're adults. Those 2 girls are in their 20s. Pick a fucking church. You know? You don't need your mom and daddy's permission.
Think about how much control they've been raised with to make them do that. That's why they want them
Yeah,
homeschooled.
see, that's where I disagree. Let me tell you again, and listen, I just disagree, and I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna prove it by the 2 gay girls in the family. One of them is actually lives her life as Leon. So if you are so embedded in something, how does 2 of those kids feel confident and comfortable enough to say, I'm gay? And then not only am I gay, but now I'm going to live my life as another person, a different gender. So
Because
I think
they're on TV and can do that.
Yeah.
Well, not only
And
that, people are just different. Like I shared that what kind of background I come from, and I have tons of cousins, and sometimes you've got 4 cousins that from the same parents, and two of them absolutely toe the line and never ever question what they're taught, and the other two are, you know, liberal gay Democrats, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
Right.
I don't know exactly why they, I guess, quote unquote, allow it, because in the church, like, so many mothers say they would rather their child die than be
Mm.
gay or trans. And
I
they
heard
actually
that.
have, yeah, there's all sorts of deconversion classes. And um I think it's probably more of the Vegas influence
Mhm.
and being on TV that allowed them to do that. So it's confusing why that's happening, but
Well, I always felt like
yeah.
Christine was way more accepting of what her children
Yeah.
wanted to be than any of the
Yeah.
parents. And well, maybe her and Christine, Janelle. But I think Robyn has a lot of control in raising her girls to
I think Robyn,
Yes.
Brandy, that I totally agree. I think, see, this is where I have a little bit of a disagreement or a misunderstanding or whatever with you, Miss Fancy Pants. I am not willing to take the whole religion, and I understand why you are, because
Oh,
you
I
know a
am.
lot more than the
I
religion.
am,
You
and I'll
know,
tell
you
you
know a
why.
lot more. You know a lot more than I do about the religion, but I am not willing to take all of that and put it on them, because I do feel like they wanted to get away from that. I do feel that. I think the only thing that I see Kody guilty of in my eyes is the way he treated those other women when he fell in love with Robyn. That's what I think, and I don't think that. And after the COVID, the way that he basically said, well, his kids are 18, I don't think that that's okay. I don't know that that has all to do with religion, because people outside that religion do this behavior. Okay, what I'm saying? So I think that's like a personal thing. I
Mhm.
think those kids, for the most part, without Robyn's kids, I think those kids are pretty well-adjusted kids. And I just think that there was more compassion and love in that home than I guess you're willing to give it, because I think those kids felt comfortable enough to be who they were. And I
Yeah.
don't think that that's going to happen in with that religion in other things, not because of TV, not because of stuff like that, just because of the people involved. Like you said, Christine was dot 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 dot. Christine didn't even come from that background, somebody's saying. So
Oh
I
no,
just think
Christine,
that there's a lot
they
more, whatever it is. Christine had the whatchamacallit, the more she was there for longer. She was in
yeah.
that with, okay. But still, these are individuals, right? And that's where I think the credit needs to go. Just don't blanket statement AUB, and that's the way it is. I'm not, I can't. They're individuals, and I think for the most part they did okay with those kids. And I think that until Robyn came on and Kody fell in love with her, I just think the way he handled it, and I think Robyn's not a good person, because she helped perpetuate this as well. I think she could say whatever she wants. She might be more embedded in that philosophy and that religion, and might put that on Kody a lot more than I think he was active in it towards, you know, like 5 years into the show, 3 years into the show. I just think once he realized, oh shit, I'm in love with Robyn here, I think everything kind of like broke down for him, and he didn't know what to do with that. I don't think that's an excuse, but I
I
think when
think
your faith and all that shit falls down, like what do you do with it when you go, oh my God, like it must have been, oh my God, I'm in love with Robyn, but here I am with 3 other people. I think that probably came into play. I don't know how important it was to him, but I do think it came into play, because I genuinely think he cared about some of the wives more than other. I do think he loved Meri for a long time, until he realized that he loved Robyn so much. I really do think that he thought he loved until he met Robyn, and then that changed everything for him, and that shook his world. He didn't handle it right. I'm not trying to find excuses, but these are more humans than just AUB or Mormon or Christian or Jewish or that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
And see, I think it's a possibility that TLC might have even offered them some more money to just be cool with the gay and trans, issues right now. That's my
Didn't
theory.
say anything
I don't
about
know.
it because that
How would
could have avoided their contract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, like how would it look too
Mm-hmm.
if the kid said something and
Yeah.
the parents shut it down? It's on TV, it's on national TV, like it looks
Mm-hmm.
so bad. So they have
Mm-hmm.
to go with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That came out, several years into the show when the kids were
Yeah.
old enough to do that. So I mean, that
I
that
think it's
came
cool
out
that they let the
several years
kids choose
later.
whether they're going to be in the church or not. I
Yeah.
think that's cool. And a lot
Cody
of parents don't do
actually,
that. So
Mm-hmm.
they do give that leeway.
Cody actually mentioned in that interview that you sent me that he did a year ago that I was listening to earlier today, he said that he thought polygamy might work better if the kids, I think he specifically mentioned the girls, were given a choice to go out into the real world basically and experience and then decide whether or not you want to come back and be a part of this church, which is similar to what the Amish do with
Yeah,
their
like a
Rumspringa.
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 yeah, and I don't disagree with that. And it shows an evolution of his thinking.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope that he continues with this evolution. And like if he really is making the switch to monogamy as it appears, because he keeps saying a lot of things that indicate that he does
Mhm.
not believe in the religion anymore, that he will go just as big refuting everything as he said as he went with promoting it.
And that's possible. I mean, we've seen that in Scientology, so that's entirely possible.
Yeah, I hope so. I
Yeah.
think that'd be a good thing for him.
Yeah.
For sure. Robyn infuriated me ripping into those kids about their choice. Love Shack. Sarah said that.
Mhm.
What do y'all know what she's talking about there?
Yeah, she's talking about when the kids were talking about being
When they were in Vegas, they were in Vegas still, and it was about their choice of church.
What'd she do? She ripped into him. I haven't seen that one.
She said that they didn't have a choice. And I think it was Janelle that corrected her that no, we've raised them to make their own choices.
That's interesting because, like I said, it sounds like that's something Kody's moving away from. I wonder how long ago that was.
I think it was in Vegas. I may have the date wrong on that, but it seems like it was in Vegas when they were doing the commitment ceremony.
Gotcha.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't think that. I think that he believed in polygamy, but I think that he was kind of trying to find like his own thing per se, and not even in a bad way. And I think that he fell in love with Robyn, and then now Robyn's all about the bullshit, and what I don't know what he's gonna do with that. That's gonna be his problem. I'm not a fan of him. I think he's a narcissist. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a fan of Kody. I think that the way he treated those 3 women is atrocious, and I think he owes them a great, a massive apology. And he needs to tell them all, I loved you, I cherished you for A, B, C, D, and E, and I was hurt, and I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs to say that. So I'm no fan of his. But me, I gotta find grace.
See, I
I
think
think
he's
the
only
only
turned
way
away
that
from the sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the only way that Kody and Robyn don't go back to polygamy is if they leave the Mormon church like altogether, like all the sex of them, like completely leave like the AUB, leave any other offshoot, because all early Mormonism leads back to polygamy. Like you have to have multiple wives to get to heaven. So until they completely leave that, they'll never leave the multiple wife thing alone.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't Kody say several times that at a few points he had a goal of becoming a prophet?
Yes.
And, the requirements to become a prophet are a lot more than just have your own planet. If I remember right.
You need a lot more wives for
Yeah,
that.
you want me to buy you a planet?
I want a planet. No,
Dog
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
get a planet,
I gave up my planet.
Can I have
Planet
planet?
Danny.
I'll take that one.
You want me to buy you a planet, sweetie?
Well, you'll have to buy me a planet because I'm an apostate now, so I can't get my own.
Oh, dang. We all were going to come to your planet.
Dang it. Dang it.
We can live stream from your planet.
Fun.
You just weren't an apostate. That's all right. We approve. Oh man. Well, does anyone else have anything to add, or we can go ahead and cut it here? And I would love to do this another time with y'all. I had a great time.
Absolutely.
We
This
should
has
do
been
it
fun.
after every episode.
Yeah,
I'm
we have new
so
season
interested.
coming up and
Yeah.
all kinds
So
of stuff.
interested to
So.
see what's coming up next,
For
like
sure.
what they do.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Brandy?
Huh?
Anything to add?
No.
Awesome.
I think we need to do this after every episode. I think we can have fun with it.
I agree.
Uh-huh.
Great time.
Mhm.
How about you, Toddy?
I'd be fine with that. I'd be
Yeah.
fine with that. I think. Listen, I love the show. I love the
Mhm.
show. I've been a fan of it. I've watched all this stuff. I haven't watched, I guess, the stuff that's not on the show because that's why I was like, oh, what? I haven't seen what.
You've got to watch the
Well,
interviews
that's
that
awesome,
aren't
though,
on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you? So let me ask you guys. Just because we're content creators, right? So
Sure.
that's guys. Cutting board Dawn is not well. Just so
She's
you
not.
know.
I talked to her a while
Yeah.
ago. She is
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah. So those
Yeah.
people that are a fan of hers, write to her on her channel and wish her well. But that was her who just texted me. But shit, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say.
You're good. You were gonna.
Gone.
About the stuff that we've been watching that you've been missing.
Yeah. Oh, so here it was. This is what I was gonna ask you. So which content creators do you watch when it comes to like Sister Wives? Because I watch I used to watch. She used to call herself Backwards Barbie, and now it's Amanda, I think is her name.
I don't know that.
I watched.
They're in the news a lot here. So there's a
Mhm.
lot of news articles written that I
About-
read, and
About Sister Wives there in
Yeah.
Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one
Actually-
called, I want to say it's Auntie, something or another over here on there's two of them I watch over here on YouTube. And sadly, my algorithm gets all kinds of fucked up and Katie Joy pops up. So,
Right.
and then I'll be listening to it and then it dawns on me who it is. And I'm like, oh, man. And then I'm
You should watch
screaming at
this
the
woman. Her
screen.
name is Amanda. I'm sorry. Her name is Amanda, and she used to be called.
Auntie's Advice. That's the one, Annie.
Yes.
Okay.
And this Auntie's Advice. Okay, and isn't there an Amanda one or something? A Backwoods Barbie. She used to be
Are
called.
you thinking of
Backwards Barbie.
Amanda Ray, who we were talking about earlier?
no, there's another two Amanda Ray. So one that
okay.
covers Sister Wives and one that covers the Order.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
maybe that's
So
No.
so if you look
yeah.
at Amanda Ray, RAY, that's the one that covers Sister Wives.
Yeah, I don't know, but she used to be called Backwoods Barbie or something. I'm pretty sure.
I don't
Anyway.
know.
She was having a problem with Katie Joy, of course, because
Who
she
doesn't
was
have a
covering
problem with
Sister
Katie
Wives.
Joy?
Simply because she was covering Sister Wives. It was really, pretty sad, So anyway,
KJ on the market.
for some reason she had to. I think she went to a different name because of that.
Oh wow.
We can relate. We can relate.
I think
Yeah.
she's one of the ones in a mini lawsuit with Katie Joy.
Wow.
Maybe.
Is there Renelle Smith also having to fight off one from Katie Joy?
Renelle Smith is my hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's my hero.
I thought so.
Yeah. Veda Jade had one, I believe. Nonsense, which is another creator, had a big fallout with her. I don't know if there was a lawsuit, but there was a whole bunch of drama, worse than any of us have seen. And there was another one. I can't think of who it was.
Well, I don't actually really follow any creators about Sister Wives, but I just read news articles about them because there's one about every day, it seems. They're always putting statements out, People Magazine, TMZ, all this different stuff, the different ones. And then if you follow each one of their own social media, you get a lot of updates.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot on the Instagram, and then Peyton does a lot of fun TikTok stuff. I like to watch him on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's funny. He really is funny. Now he's a jerk. I mean, he did hit Gwendolyn. I mean, he's a jerk, but he's funny.
Yeah.
Well, the
That's
only guys
what
you're the only guys I watch on this content, so I'll just say that you're up on the panel.
Awesome.
I've done Sister Wife content.
I
I have
know.
a playlist. I have a Sister Wives playlist.
That's why
Yeah.
I started watching you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I couldn't figure out Scientology. You mentioned Scientology.
Well,
I do
it was-
Scientology.
Yeah. I started because of the sister wives, and then when you started talking about Scientology, then I was all in.
Oh, okay, okay, all
Yeah.
right, okay.
Nice.
See, I didn't know that it came from Sister
Yeah.
Wives. Cool beans, cool beans. I didn't know that. I
Cool.
want to do 90 Day Fiance, but I can't seem to get that going. And man, I love that show. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
90
I've
Day
only
Fiance is a
seen-
train wreck. It's so fun.
It is
Yeah.
I've
so
only
great.
seen clips of it. I think I need to watch it just so we can all talk about it.
It is
So
Big
so
Ed is
funny.
so
life are into
cringy.
it.
Big Ed and Liz. Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah,
called him.
Brady.
I was telling, didn't I? I was telling you 1980, right? So I called Big Ed Little Dick Ed. And I was like, that should go viral, Little Dick Ed. You know what I mean?
Because he looks like one.
Yeah.
Looks
But
like
what
a
a great
thumb.
name, right? So yeah, so that was it. And I did with Wade Wilson, like I did WEIGH apostrophe D Wilson. And I was right. That was you, 1980. I was talking to
Yeah.
you, right, Millennial? It's like this shit
Yep.
should have gone viral. But anyway, I love 90 Day. I love 90 Day Fiance. All of it. I love it. There is funny as
Oh
shit.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. There's this cringy show that A&E had out, and it's called Adults Adopting Adults. And if we can find clips, we should go over it because it is so horrific and cringy. And you're going to
Okay.
be like, what in the actual heck?
That's
Oh, wow.
hilarious.
We should all watch it together.
Do
Yeah.
you watch
So
90
funny.
Day Fiance, Brandy?
No, I don't, and I need to. It's one of those that I keep looking
That's
at
how
going,
I'm
watch this
feeling.
one.
Like everyone I like thinks it's hilarious, so I probably would too. I need to check it out.
I stay stuck with, of course, The Bachelor now is getting so boring. I'm over it. But I'm a Big Brother fan, and that summertime is coming up. So I will be entrenched in Big Brother.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I
Never
need
got
to watch.
into the Big Brother.
I
Go ahead.
want to go on the
Love
show.
Brother.
Like, I want to go on the show. Like, it's not even
Really?
fun. But I need to watch, because I've wanted to watch 90 Day Fiance because I keep seeing the clips. I'm like, I need to watch this one, and I never get to it.
There-
By the time
It's so
I think about it,
cringy.
there's so many franchises for 90 Day Fiance. Like they just finished. Well, I mean, like the Last Resort, the
Yeah, The
third
Last
tell-all.
Resort.
I can't wait for the fourth tell-all. Like that's gonna be like a blast. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I'm addicted. I watch all of it.
We'll have to
So,
check it out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for coming up with me. I think
Thanks
we'll
for having us on.
go
Thank
ahead
you for
and try to
having me.
again sometime.
Yes. Thank
Definitely.
you so much. It was
Yeah.
fun.
And thank
Yeah,
you
I
for
had a
having me,
blast.
guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a good night. Thank you everyone in chat for being here.
Yes.
All right,
Have a
guys.
good
Take
day.
care.
everyone.
See
Bye,
you later.
everybody. Bye, Brandy. Bye, Mrs.
guys.
Fancy
Bye,
Pants.
guys.
See you later, Jamie.
See
See
ya.
y'all.
Bye bye.